1 o'clock. It's America Web Radio. We are in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is
Let's Talk Venezuelan.
Hey, with David Moxley, the legend, and Brad Oldman. How are you, both of you?
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Woo-hoo!
This Venezuelan is improving, my goodness.
Let me tell you something. I am on air on Twitter live. We are doing basically two connections. We are here in Atlanta, right?
I think so.
We are doing the English version of Let's Talk Venezuelan, but somebody in Venezuela is already distributing our program for today in English and in Spanish via Twitter. Okay.
Wow.
So he's trying to invite people to come and listen to what we're gonna be talking in English. Some of them they love to hear the English version. Others they rather have the Spanish version, the Castellano version. So, okay, what are the news, Carlos? What are the news? Break it down. Come on.
Well, we have some news, and very heavy news, by the way.
Your microphone close to you.
The first news is that the frontier, the border between Venezuela and Colombia is open after 14 months of COVID-19 crisis among those nations. Do not confuse that part of the border where is the Simon Bolivar bridge in between San Antonio and Cúcuta in Colombia, with the crisis that happened in the Llanos Venezolanos with the Venezuelan army and the people of the FARC. By the way,
so you are telling me that they finally opened the border in between Cúcuta and
San Antonio. Yes.
And this has happened after the confrontation. The last FARC and the military got it?
No. That closing happened because of the COVID-19 crisis. The other one, was resolved. And do you know how? The Venezuelan army gave up and retired and let the people from the communist guerrilla get into Venezuelan territory.
They let them get control in the territory.
Yes.
Okay, so this reopen is not due because what happened 2 years ago or lately. This is because it was closed because of the COVID-19.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I got my question, and I'm gonna let you speak after this. Do you remember the humanitarian help that was sent to Venezuela through Colombia? And they're trying to bring that help, medicine, food, from Colombia to Venezuela, and they stop it right there in the bridge, in the border.
Yes.
That's when they were closed. They closed the bridge, right?
At that moment,
and they reopened it back again after that incident.
Yes, they reopened it and then they closed it again
because of the pandemic.
Of the pandemic thing, and it's a very strenuous situation because some organizations such as the one that Cristal Montañez is managing, there are a lot of Venezuelan in between the borders, and she's doing a very heavy effort to keep these people, afloat. Well, the opening of the border says that Colombia on Wednesday began what its government called a gradual opening of its border with Venezuela after 14 months closure intended to curb the spread of coronavirus. Colombia, whose porous border with Venezuela extends roughly 1,380 miles, that's about 2,220 kilometers, has been the chief destination for Venezuelan fleeing their country's social and economic crisis. The two countries do not maintain diplomatic relations. The gradual opening of river and land crossing was authorized starting at midnight on Wednesday, according to a resolution published by the Andean Nations Interior Ministry.
Okay.
The Interior Ministry said biosecurity measures in light of the COVID-19 pandemic established by Colombia's health ministry must be followed during crossing. Colombia closed its border in March 2020. It says its immigration agency will schedule times for crossing and establish restrictions based on the last number of people's identity documents. Colombia reopened its border with Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, and Panama on May 19th.
Okay.
About 1.7 million Venezuelans reside in Colombia. The number could rise in the coming month following a decision by Colombian President Iván Duque's government to grant Venezuelan migrants of temporary protective status for a period of 10 years.
Okay.
Colombia accused Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's government of harboring former FARC rebels who reject a 2016 peace deal, as well as guerrillas of the National Liberation Army, ELN. Venezuela accused Duque of plotting to overthrow Maduro with support of the United States. I think this kind of things, I heard it with the Fidel Castro for the last 60 years, you know?
So it's the same strategy, the same language,
the same language, everything is exactly the same. But the good news is that people can cross over the border, and people from Venezuela who might need some things, medicines, can cross the border and buy those medicines in Colombia, where they have plenty of things that Venezuela needs, because borders are living entities that depends each other. Okay, it is something that we need to understand, even though I don't like Nicolás Maduro regime, nor Iván Duque's also. It's like a fight among socialists.
My socialist is better than your socialist.
Yes.
That's the fight in Venezuela.
That's
it's always
fight.
About socialism.
It's always about
Socialism. And then closing the border is one way of controlling their people.
Yeah.
Opening a border is another way of controlling their people.
Yeah.
Is
but in this case was the Colombian government that, under the circumstances of the pandemic crisis, really took that measure, because the problem with the pandemic, or pandemic, as you know,
it's a pandemia.
Yeah, the virus exists. The people who died, unfortunately, happened. But
we need to remember, we need to give kudos to one representative and one senator here in the United States who called it from the month of March and April how it was and how it is. Representative Cotton, he said the pandemic, the coronavirus, was an act of war from China to America.
Yes.
And Senator Ron Paul, he called it out like the one who originated this disease, this pandemia. It's not even a pandemia. Pandemia.
Yeah, it was planned.
Is China. It's China, and China has to be accountable. You know.
Yes,
definitely. It has to be accountable for what they did.
Definitely, because the problem is not what they did. The problem is what they didn't. When you have this kind of crisis, the worst thing to do is keep silent. Okay, when the first cases appears in Europe, in Italy, they didn't know what happened. If the government of China issued a alarm saying, listen guys, we have a crisis here, we don't know how to manage this.
Yes.
Okay, every country in the planet would take the measures to avoid these kind of things. Now we know exactly what it is and how to treat it, but at that time nobody knows how to do it. Okay, nobody knew. Okay, and now you have not only this genetic treatment, because it's not a vaccine. They want to sell us that thing as a vaccine.
Yeah.
No, it's a treatment. It's a treatment based.
Well, you're giving them a nice word, like treatment. I call them an inoculation.
It's an inoculation.
It's an inoculation.
Yes,
you know what inoculation means, David? Inoculation. Inoculation is they put something in your body that doesn't belong to you.
Exactly.
Okay, that doesn't belong. It belongs to other animal or belong to another. So basically, what they're doing is they're destroying our body from the DNA.
And then they are using this mechanism, artificial mechanism, to circumvent your natural defenses. Okay, it's a good thing, bad thing. Okay, that kind of genetic treatment is been used for the last 12 years to treat some things like cancer, like lupus, like that kind of things. But it's a treatment, it's not a vaccine. A vaccine is something that you put in your body to impulse your system, your immune system. Okay, this is not a vaccine.
So, for example, my mother every year she goes to. I'm not going to say the name of the pharmacy, but she goes every year around October to get the flu vaccine. The vaccine for the flu. Okay. Thanks God, I went to medical school. I got some knowledge about medicine and pharmacology and all that. So, when you get the vaccine for the flu, what you are actually doing is you are allowing the flu virus come in your body. That's why you have to be in good health, because when the virus comes, they inject it into your body develops autoimmune system. It develops and then fight it back, right? They are putting that specific sickness virus in your body so you can fight it back. With the coronavirus, it's not like that. They are not putting in you for you to develop. What they're doing is they're putting something else to develop,
to program your cells
to be sick and to carry the sickness. So that's why they say if you are vaccinated and you didn't suffer, you're okay. But you are carrying the sickness to make other people sick, especially those ones who were not vaccinated. So now, last night I was in a round table, and this lady, she said that she was banned from Facebook. She was in Facebook jail. Guess why they put her on Facebook jail? Because she was promoting for us to start drinking vitamin B, vitamin C, complex B, anything that will make your immune system to put it up. Zinc, magnesium, calcium. She was put in jail because what she was promoting, hey people, if you get to drink these vitamins, you will not get this sickness because your immune system is up.
It's a protocol well known by doctors all over the world. If you have your vitamins, your immune system is up and is less prone to sickness. It's logic, okay? But the other thing is the use of alternative methods. For example, I quite remember when President Trump said about the hydroxychloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine, yeah.
Okay.
Johsie, can you take the show for a minute and go talk to Brett for a second about what you just said?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because I've been treated for...
Go.
Okay.
So, going back to the news, right?
Well, I know one thing that I keep forgetting to ask, and because I'm in the business, it's very important to me. How's the Venezuelan oil spill going? Have they ever stopped it?
No, they just don't care. I mean, you remember when we had the oil spill here in the Mexican Gulf? The whole planet was going crazy, remember?
Right.
And even ladies were crying because the little dog or those little
birds and all that
birds were coming out from the Gulf of Mexico with all this oil, and then they promoted this soap, right? The soap and cleaning Dove and So everything were going so bad for United States because they have a spill of the oil in the Gulf of Mexico, in our territory, in our land, our water. The same thing is happening in Venezuela, and nobody's saying even a damn nothing about it. Nothing. Why? Because Venezuela is not the subject to be attacked on. The subject to attack from these communists and these globalists is USA, USA, USA. Okay. Last night in the round table, I was telling them, you need to understand something. That's the part that the Americans don't get it. They don't understand it. First of all, America is seen from outside other country, the big, powerful country, right? Where the freedom and also other people are seeing America like the abusive power. They don't understand is because those countries call United States to help them out. If United States is not being called, United States, they just don't participate. That's the way that I've been witnessed for 30 years. Okay? The latest one was Egypt. South Arabia. When Yemen started, you remember the latest conflict? And they called Trump, and then Trump went over there. No, he sent some help, and they stopped. Yemen stopped messing with South Arabia. And Marco Rubio said to the Venezuelan, we got involved with South Arabia because South Arabia called us for help. Venezuela hasn't called us for help. Okay, so what I was explaining them last night is whatever is happening bad in Venezuela, in Mexico, down south to the Patagonia, Argentina, everything is you guys' fault. Everything is Americans' fault. Everything is the white people's fault. Because when they talk about over there about Venezuela, they don't understand that when they talk in Venezuela or in Colombia about America, they don't understand that we are a country of mixed races. We have every single race here. Yes or no? We have it. We have Latinos, we have Asians, we have Caribbeans, we have Black, we have Africans, we have Russians, we have European. Name it.
We got it.
We got it here. Yep. So when they talk about United States over there, they only talking about the white man with the blue eyes or the white man with the green eyes. Right? So, United States is the bad country. We are in bad shape because United States is their fault. So when we had that oil spill, the spell in the Gulf, you remember how those countries were portraying America. Remember that time? Oh, we were awful. We were killing the environment, and we did not care. We only care about money. Venezuela is doing the same thing. But you only are talking one subject. That's only the surface, David. In Venezuela, there is a genocide, environment genocide going on in Venezuela. And it's not only because of the oil. It's because of the minerals, how they are extracting those minerals. Guess from what area in Venezuela? From the Native Americans area that they don't supposed to be touching at all, because those areas they consider national park.
Is it Russia that's doing it?
It's Russia and China. They are the ones who are taking all those minerals from there. And when I say mineral, it's not only gold.
No, you know what they're taking them for? To make batteries for cars, to produce batteries.
Yes, and for bomb. And for they were telling me the name last night. I cannot remember. Cobaltum. The other one was
Cobalt, or
yeah, one of those components for making bombs and atomic, uranium. Venezuela is rich with uranium. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, there is environmental genocide not only in Venezuela but also in some countries in Africa. And who's the one who's doing that genocide? Environmental. When I say environmental, I'm talking about birds, plants, the whole environment. Who are doing it? The Chinese. In Africa. The Chinese are all over the place in Africa, in those countries, extracting minerals, extracting gold, extracting precious stones, and name it. Right?
I passed up on a break, so we'll take a break and we'll be back with Let's Talk Venezuelan right after a couple of messages.
Hello, my name is Rick White, and I'm the director of the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. I want to encourage all Georgia veterans to consider being nominated to the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And if you are a Georgia veteran, and the definition of a Georgia veteran is either you were born in the state of Georgia, or you've lived here 10 years, or you were raised your right hand and joined the military in this state, you are considered a Georgia veteran. For further information, go to www.gmbhof.org, or you can contact me at 678-427-0915. We'd love to have your nomination for the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Rocky Blair, former four-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Vietnam veteran. As a board member, I'd like to talk to you about Warriors to Citizen, a nonprofit organization that helps American heroes, soldiers, police, fire, EMT, and their families recover from the psychological harm caused by career-induced stress. Over the last 20 years, broken relationships have been a major causal factor for the highest documented divorce rate and resulting suicides in this population. This program, From Warriors to Citizen, is delivered free to families by professionals, all whom served in uniform and understand the needs to be addressed. I ask for your support, so please go to our website, warriorscitizen.org, and find out how you can help, either by making a donation or sharing this information with an American hero that you may know. And thank you.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we're back. This is America's Web Radio, and this is
Let's Talk Venezuelan. Okay, where we continue with the news about Venezuela. Okay, we finished with the border.
Yes,
okay.
Okay, now
what's the next one?
The next news has to do also with migration, but this is a different kind of migration. It's the same Venezuelans that but in the border between United States and Mexico.
Oh, I got a video, David. You gotta see that video. You gotta watch the video. I'm gonna show it to you. It's in Spanish, but I'm gonna translate it just for you, one word by word, and you're gonna see how organized this Venezuelan cartel, human trafficking, are doing the damage in America by bringing so much people. Go ahead, Carlos.
As doors close to them in South America, as they misconstrue TPS in the U.S., Venezuelan refugees are flocking to the U.S.-Mexico border and South Florida. This is news that is been in the making for a long time, but we have a very hefty report here. Raquel is a single mother.
Okay.
And
Rachel.
Coach Cruel, no, Raquel.
Raquel, en
Raquel,
español,
en
Raquel.
Okay?
Okay.
It's a single mother and court clerk from Maracaibo, Venezuela. 6 years ago, she says she visited Cancun, Mexico as a tourist.
Okay.
She enjoyed the all-inclusive resort, a tour of the Yucatan pyramids. But last month, Raquel was back in Cancun as a refugee.
Refugee? Okay.
Yes, on her way to cross Mexico's northern desert border and seek U.S. asylum from what she said was political prosecution by dictatorial regime back in Venezuela.
Okay.
TPS is a temporary protected status. It lets documented migrants from crisis-torn countries to live and work legally in the United States for 18 months and usually renewed, often 4 years. President Biden recently granted TPS to Venezuela. Remember that
That was not President Biden, that was
No.
President Trump.
President Trump did a executive order.
Executive order.
Okay, but now it's a TPS.
Oh, now Biden gave him the PTS.
They changed the status.
Okay, that was the reward for what Venezuelans for Biden did in order to make him win the election in America.
Yeah.
But you know what is a TPS? It's like a giving people a tole with the dedo.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, giving people a tole with the dedo means that's an Spanish expression. Like pictures yourself, David, somebody drinking a soup, but instead of giving you the soup with the spoon, they are giving it you with their finger. Okay, that's what is TPS for Venezuela. It's something that TPS they have to renew it every 2 years.
Every 18 months.
Every 18 months. Do you think that is a solution for somebody to be in United States? Every 18 months they have to be spending fees, money. Every application costs money. So it's a good business.
It's a business.
Okay, go ahead.
And rather things, most Venezuelan crossing border now are ignoring that fine print. As a result, she says, this will be increasing. It won't stop. More people, I think, will come in the following months. One of the newly arrived refugees visiting the Raíces warehouse recently was Marisol, not her real name, as she picked out donated clothes for herself and her son and daughter, aged 12 and 9. She recounted what drove them to the United States.
What it drove her to the United States? What'd she say?
She said, by then, hyperinflation had reduced my salary to nothing away.
So she basically is recognizing that she's coming to United States for economic release.
Yes.
Relief.
Relief.
Not because her life is in danger, not because she's being politically persecuted, not because of it's because of economic situation.
Because to buy a pound of cheese every week take all her savings. So they are basically in a hunger state.
So the governor are making them hungry.
Yes.
Okay, that's why they're leaving the country, because
She
there's
said
nothing to
she
eat.
sold her house for practically nothing
Okay.
and bought $1,000 one-way plane tickets to Mexico City last month. Then she said they flew to Monterrey in northern Mexico, and from there they made their way to Acuña, the Mexican border town across the Rio Grande from Del Rio, Texas.
In Texas.
It's where the Venezuelan WhatsApp network we joined told us the river would be more shallow, she said.
The river won't be more shallow, so they can cross easily.
Yes.
The river, okay.
Yeah, shallower, but it's still risky, she said. A more than 100-yard wide crossing whose river currents forced her to plead with other adults crossing to help her young daughter from falling under. Veteran Mexico reporter Dudley Adlertus said the Acuña del Rio crossing has become a favorite for the Venezuelans. While reporting on the border crisis for San Antonio Express News in April, he came upon a large group of them making a more difficult crossing. They were struggling, Alto said. They came out of the water panicking and crying. Still, Altos point out that they had all flown up to the border, avoiding the genuinely grueling and often treacherous trek from most Central Americans make from their countries by foot or dangerous freight trains. That's certainly not to minimize the hard migrant journey these Venezuelans were making too, Alto says, but they were sort of what we call business class border migrants, more professionals and fewer laborers than you see among the Central Americans. Well,
okay, I have a video here in Spanish.
Okay.
There is organized mafia who are bringing people from Venezuela to Mexico, from Mexico to one city on the border, and they even say in the video how much they charge. For example, from Venezuela to Mexico, how much you have to pay.
We will talk about that after these messages.
Okay.
Whether cruising the strip in a 57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
If you live to serve and want to make an even bigger difference, consider joining the U.S. Army. With training in fields like medical care, linguistics, and engineering, an Army career can amplify your efforts with humanitarian opportunities all over the world. Plus, you'll receive competitive pay and incredible benefits, so you'll be taken care of, too. Learn more at GoArmy.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
We're back. Okay, according to the U.S. migration officials, the vast majority of the Venezuelan asylum seekers are detained, processed, and released with an ankle bracelet, pending their asylum hearing. Only a few hundred so far have been sent back. Okay? The problem is that can create what's called a firm resettlement bar that can get your asylum denied because you are already found protection in another country before coming here.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're looking for asylum here in United States,
And you're coming from Mexico?
and you're coming from another country that already gave you asylum, for example, you
Costa
come from
Rica.
Costa Rica, Colombia, Panama, whatever, you cannot ask for asylum.
They will not
here.
give you asylum here because
No.
you already went in another country before you got here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Some Venezuela, De La Vega said he's only hearing stories from clients about kidnapping, rape, and other violence they experience along the border.
Yes.
Some Venezuelans get my name and call me before they even leave for the border, and I tell them I wouldn't put my family through that situation. Those risks certainly had Marisol's sister Carolina anxiety-ridden. Carolina came to the United States 5 years ago. She asked we do not use her last name since it's the same as her sister. When Marisol and her children joined Carolina in Fort Lauderdale, Carolina said she broke down. This is my
niece and nephew, Carolina said, crying as she recalled the reunion in South Florida last month. I am their aunt. I am supposed to be taking them to the beach, not making them risk their lives swimming a river. Marisol said their odyssey and the circumstances that force it are distressing, even humiliating. But she adds it would be more distressing to have stay in Venezuela. Stay in Venezuela. So
the problem is harsh, because these people are leaving everything, all the story, everything that they had in Venezuela, they sold out for pennies.
For pennies, eh?
Okay, their houses, their cars, everything. Okay, with a few pennies in the pocket at the end of the line. Okay, to come to the United States, looking for a better future.
Okay.
But the problem is intertwined with another news that I will read right now. And says, Biden administration renews Chevron license in Venezuela.
Wait a minute. Chevron didn't have no license. I remember the last 2 years. Okay? Trump and the Chevron, they didn't do what they supposed to do, so the license were not renewed.
Exactly.
Right? And now the first thing the Biden is doing to help out the regime is renewing the Chevron license.
You're right. So you have this crisis, this humanitarian crisis, as a consequence as a communist regime in Venezuela.
Okay.
Okay. And also you are, in the other hand, helping the same regime
who are kicking people out of the country.
Exactly.
So, entonces, and then I got into a conversation this morning explaining these people who are talking on Twitter how they can do to help out Venezuela recover their freedom. I told them it's impossible because the worst enemies the Venezuela as a country have in America, guess who they are? Who are they?
The Democratic
The
Party.
Venezuelans Democratic.
Yes.
They are the worst.
Yes.
They are their enemies.
Let me read this situation with Chevron, okay, and later on you analyze all the whole picture.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a Reuters announcement. Chevron Corporate, the last major U.S. oil company still operating in Venezuela, received a new U.S. government license allowing it to remain in Venezuela until December 1st,
Mm-hmm.
the Treasury Department said on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Chevron welcomed the renewal, the first under U.S. President Joe Biden, and the eighth since 2018. It continues to comply with applicable laws and regulations governing activities in Venezuela, said Chevron spokesman Ray Ford. The oil firm has been a constructive presence in the country, supporting social investment and humanitarian programs, he added. Chevron has had a special U.S. operating licensing, accepting it from sanctions on Venezuela's vital oil sector, though the administration of former President Donald Trump last year modified the license to restrict the company from key activities like drilling and trading. The latest waiver was due to expire on June 3rd. So
It's going to be today is June 3rd.
okay.
Expires today.
Yeah, the last President Trump license expired today.
So Biden is going to renew it then now.
Tuesday renewal of the license, which also applies to oil service companies. Halliburton,
Ooh!
Schlumberger Limited, Baker Hughes, and Weatherford International continues those restrictions. The companies are also not authorized to repair or improve wells, hire additional staff or services, pay dividends to Venezuelan state-run PDVSA, or negotiate any new loans. The license allows the company only to conduct transactions with PDVSA necessarily for the limited maintenance of essential operations in Venezuela or the wind down of operations by December 1st.
Hold it. So they're only allowed to do those?
To close down the business in Venezuela.
Yeah, but they are still drilling. They're still doing some.
No. They are absolutely forbidden to drill or to keep wells or do whatever.
So how Cuba is getting their oil? How the China is getting their oil? They need to get paid back anyway somehow. Who's doing that?
That's a problem with PDVSA. That's not
the Halliburton on these people.
No.
So what do they renew? What is the whole idea?
Because they have to, for example, they have leases to maintain, to pay. So they are paying those leases. They are those rents. They are winding down operations. And some of these operations are very complex to do it by, to say tomorrow we were not here anymore. They have to do the things with a protocol.
And who are paying them?
Who are paying who?
Who are paying them? They are paying to who? To Venezuela? They are paying,
no,
or Venezuela are paying them?
They are Venezuela is paying them.
So they're making money out of misery, of the Venezuelan misery, still making money. It's not enough with the money they're making in Saudi Arabia. It's not enough the money the Americans, the Halliburton, all this are making in Saudi Arabia, in Yemen, in UAE, in Syria. No, it's not enough. They have to go to Venezuela and keep on.
These companies would risk U.S. government sanctions or punitive measures if they fail to comply. So.
With Biden? Please, nothing is going to happen to them.
No, nothing.
That's why Venezuelan for Biden, they were, pushing some more Biden because this kind of business will help the Venezuelans in the government.
The government.
And those people who are here taking the money from the PDVSA and the frozen money.
Well, Do we have somebody in line right now that wants to ask questions?
Okay, let me go and see. Okay. Joel Bean, do anybody have any question?
Okay, yes, there is Jose. Jose speak English and have a question.
Okay,
Okay, Jose.
just a moment. We'll be back in a moment, and
Give me one. Dame un minuto. Give me 1 minute,
and
then
we'll be back.
Okay, we're going on commercial.
If you live to serve and want to make an even bigger difference, consider joining the U.S. Army. With training in fields like medical care, linguistics, and engineering, an Army career can amplify your efforts with humanitarian opportunities all over the world. Plus, you'll receive competitive pay and incredible benefits, so you'll be taken care of, too. Learn more at GoArmy.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Karuchak. Have you ever wondered what doctors talk about amongst themselves? If you do, join us on the Doctor's Lounge and hear the doctors' conversations amongst themselves. Join me and my co-host, Dr. Hal Schertz, every Thursday morning, 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we're back, and we have a surprise for our people here in the program. Josie.
Okay, Jose, what's your question, Jose?
English or Spanish?
English. This is the English one, and the Spanish is at 2 o'clock.
Okay, no, I was in the morning in the meeting with in the open room in this fair. I was wondering why Joe he leaves the room because he was talking about something very important.
Who's Joe?
Joe Alvin.
Joe Elvin. I think his cell phone
Quit.
dropped. I think this connection was messed up, and that's why he left. Yeah.
That was very important. He could be stay there this morning because these people this morning I was in the room, but
What is the question?
Okay, so do you have any question concerning to what we're talking about, the oil? And because we're going to be talking now about the Iranian vessel that is coming to to the Caribbean area. Do you want to hold a little bit and listen, and then you ask a question about what we're talking about right now?
No, I don't interest.
Oh, okay.
I prefer to wait until.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead with the news about the Iranian. Gracias, Jose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
We have another news. It's an Iranian warship heading towards Venezuela. A clash with U.S. Navy may occur if Tehran tries to subvert American sanction on the Islamic Republic and its far-left ally. Let me explain you something.
Are you going to talk about history?
We are talking about the October crisis on 1962.
I wasn't born.
Okay.
Okay, 1962.
The same thing happens in Cuba.
Okay.
When the Soviets put some missiles on Cuba soil.
Okay.
Okay. The United States of America has the right to, in high seas, blockade Venezuela for certain activities.
Okay.
Okay. One of the activities is receiving some vessels from some places, such as the ones that are heading to Venezuela, because we don't know if those vessels are transporting some kind of offensive weapons that could be used against the United States. Let me explain you something.
Okay.
From Tehran, you cannot. They don't have the technical capability to launch a missile from Tehran to reach United States. It's impossible.
Okay.
Okay, but they have missiles, okay, that can be used from Paraguaná, and they can reach from Paraguaná all the east border of United States, including Canada, and as far as Las Vegas or Texas.
Okay. In what? In 2 hours?
In less than 30 minutes.
In less than 30 minutes.
Yes, if they
They
launch,
can reach here.
Yes, in less than 30
So
minutes.
the big deal about these vessels is they can be carrying those missiles. We don't know.
We
So
don't
it's
know.
like the repetition what happened in Cuba
In
before
Cuba,
I was born.
Yeah, there was the October crisis when Kennedy blockaded Cuba.
Okay.
Okay, and the Soviets they took out those armaments from Cuba and left.
Okay.
Against the will of Fidel Castro.
Because Fidel is the one who let them come to Cuba.
He wanted to use those
against America.
Against America.
So, but in the 60s was the communist Cuban who was threatening America.
Yes.
Today we have the Iranian, the Islamist.
Yes.
The Islamic system threatening America.
And they don't need to have an atomic bomb. It could be very easily a missile with what we named a dirt bomb.
Dirt.
Okay, a dirt bomb is not other thing that you put with an explosive. You can use cobalt or uranium with that explosive, and when that explodes in the high atmosphere, they reach a very large
vast area.
Yes, with radiation.
Okay, last night, curiously, the round table, one of the guys who is a military, he asked me a question. You are from South America. You are our brother and sister Latino point of view that we always need to hear the side of what's going on. He asked me, he says, well, I just find out that Iran is threatening America with a bomb like the one that it takes the power grid completely destroyed. What is the kind?
With the EMP.
EMP, exactly.
EMP bomb. Well, let me explain you something.
Okay.
They have not that capability, and let me explain you why. In order to create an EMP, you need at least an atomic bomb.
Okay.
And they don't have that technology yet.
That we know.
Okay.
We don't know.
In order to have an EMP, it's very simple. You launch a rocket and you go to the space, and the missile is in this space. Okay.
It explodes.
And that atomic explosion, instead to get radiation, because the Van Allen belt get rid of that thing, they create an EMP. It's just an electric magnetic pulse, and the electric magnetic pulse is the one that shut off all the electrical grid. But do you know something? Iran do not have that capability. But let me tell you something. The United States of America does, and we have the Special Air Force created under the Trump administration. So we are fairly covered against that kind of threats.
Well, they asked me, and you know what I told them? I am always talking as a sarcastic, in a sarcastic tone, right? Yeah. I told them, well, if that happens, finally, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, and all these people who are promoting the new Green Deal, finally they will have exactly what they want, because they will send us back. If that situation happens, the power grid going off completely, we don't have no running water, they will send us back to 1700.
I think the United States, in that matter, with the special army, we are fairly covered. We've been in the space for the last 60 years.
Okay.
And these people from the military, they do know exactly what they are doing. Remember that we have very close friends for like Caesar that works for the
SpaceX.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
he worked for how you call it?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. And
Okay,
he's
but we have people in the aerospace industry, you know, and I have very high confidence on what these people that have a very high skills knowledge are doing. So if I'm more concerned about launching
a dirty bomb
than
what's the other name? EPS?
No, the EMP is not on the discussion in my humble point of view. Okay, but a missile with a launch with a dirty bomb, it's a very high risk that United States do not need to.
Yeah, and do you think those movement of those vessels from Iran that are crossing the Caribbean, right? That are coming this way to Venezuela, it's not like a challenging America, Biden administration. Hey, we are here. We're gonna do whatever we want because you are not gonna stop us.
Yes.
They are basically
they are testing waters.
They are testing water to see how much they can push Biden administration as far as they can. Remember, they couldn't do it. The Korean couldn't do it with Trump. When he said, "I got a button," what Trump says, "My button is bigger."
My button is bigger. Exactly.
My button is bigger. So with Trump, they knew how far they could go.
And remember that right now in Europe, they are sitting the Biden administration with the Iranians to renew that awful treat of Obama era.
The Obama era, yeah.
Okay, so
with the millions of cash dollars, the billions of cash delivered to Iran.
Yes.
To keep them quiet.
Yes.
Because
the
of
the
hash money, because of Osama bin Laden, because of the Hunter Biden situation, because of the deal, the Uranium One that Hillary Clinton did.
Yeah.
All this is more than the hacking that they are doing to the pipeline. It's more than the ransom they are making to this particular business.
Bingo.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
But in different levels, in different fields.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to be going next to the Spanish version.
Yes.
Vamos a estar hablando en español para la próxima hora. Thank you so much, David. Do you have any question before we leave? Because we still have 1 minute left.
No. Why is my printer broken?
Well, in the last minute, do you have something to say about the patrons of this radio station?
If you want to become a patron, you just go to our homepage, and there's a button that says patron, and we're very fortunate. We appreciate the folks that have signed up to be patrons, and that's the way we stay on the air. We're a for-profit business, and we need your patronage to keep the station going. And we've got great shows on, just like Let's Talk Venezuelan. There's no other show in the country like this, I don't believe. And in English and Spanish, and we've got the Doctor's Lounge. We've got so many great shows, and we're going to have another one. Well, we've got many great shows, and just want to remind folks that we have a show coming up Saturday, the Classic Car Show. And again, we have guests on that no one else has on, and we had a Command Sergeant Major on yesterday.
Okay.
And then we also had this morning, as a matter of fact, one doctor had just left Fox and Friends and came and was on our show.
Wonderful.
And
Good.
On the Doctor's Lounge, as a matter of fact, and he's the head of surgery at Johns Hopkins. So Anyway, we're going to get out of here, and we appreciate you all tuning in. And
this is America's Web Radio.
America's Web Radio. And
.com.
With the, they're going to be doing the Spanish version.
Hey folks, this is